and welcome to the STPL. My name is Kix. Rapid is slightly off screen, but I'm going to fix that now. And yeah, it's going to be a fun day.
It certainly is, Kix. Today, in case you're wondering, Kix, what we have what we have in store is the second of our two semifinals for the STPL Season 2 playoffs. We had our first semifinal a couple days ago, and it was actually really amazing. We had some very long games, some really close ones, and tonight we get a chance to see which team will advance to join our team that won in the other semifinal, whose name I'm not sure if I can say because of spoilers.
Yeah, I don't know if... You know what, I've not really thought of that, but it was a really sick semi-final on Wednesday, so hopefully today's is going to be just as exciting.
Yeah, I would hope so. You know, one can only hope. There's the potential, of course, that all of our games are 2 minutes long, and we're out of here in 30 minutes. But like you said, hopefully the games are actually really good. And I don't know what to expect here because, not to give too many spoilers, but with as epic as our first semifinals were, I don't know if I can expect every series to be that way. But
Yeah.
if I had to expect that, it would be between the two teams that we have playing here tonight.
Yeah, the two teams we're going to have, I'm just going to show off now, but basically... Arguably, people would look at the rosters of SCPL and think these two are the strongest teams without a doubt. One of them didn't do so well in round one. One of them, of course, did win it. So let's head on and have a look at who they are. Okay, so starting us off, we're going to have SouL Gaming versus White Clan. Now, both of them in round two have got the same number of wins. SouL Gaming actually went undefeated to get here, so matching red, but they did have a slightly smaller group, just due to IM dropping out.
Yeah, I never know exactly what to expect from the season because we didn't last round specifically. I don't think anybody could have really predicted which teams would have made it all the way to the finals or to the playoffs even. But you're right. I would have expected these two teams to be here now. These are two of our, I call them Korean clans. White Clan is actually Korean. SouL is not like originally Korean, but does have very, very strong Korean players on the roster. And so for all intents and purposes, you can expect the majority of their players to be Korean. But of course, they do have members from all over the world.
Yep, SouL Gaming initially started as a South American team, which is where you see some of their mainstays like Dandy in there, but still a great team. White Clan did win, of course, round one of the STPL, so they got the most qualification points from there. They're back again. They've done a great job in their group, only losing to Red in their group games, so... Red and IRK, both of them have taken down White Clan, so, I mean, White Clan aren't undefeated, so there's actually a good number of teams that can take them down.
Yeah, they are mortal. Now, keep in mind, both of these, teams have insanely strong ex-pro gamers or ex-Korean pro gamers on their roster, and so for White Clan, I believe Mind and Best are both members
And
of
Shuttle.
White. And Shuttle, yeah.
And
So
Saxry.
when you think about it, these guys could absolutely just field some insane rosters, but
Yeah.
usually they do not. Mostly because they're strong players or practicing for other tournaments and don't really play in their games. Every once in a while it's a treat, but for the most part, we do actually have a lot of up and comers, some amateur players that play in STPL, and so it's really exciting to kind of see very strong players, but not the likes of Best or Mind or players like that.
Yeah, they did appear in the playoff semi-finals last time. No, it wasn't the playoff semi-finals, it was the White Clan versus SouL match for Group A, I believe it was. And we had some crazy games. We had Scan versus Best it was, Mind versus Miso, and Shiny versus MSC, if I remember correctly. But there were some crazy matchups. But here, today, we're going to have some good matchups as well. Let's just first introduce the maps that we're going to see in set 1. It's going to be New Sniper Ridge. Set 2, Neo Electric Circuit. Set 3, Neo Aztec. Set 4, Hitchhiker. And if we make it, that ace match is going to be on Return of the King.
Yeah, a slightly different order there, but I do expect to see good matchups on specifically Aztec, just because it's in the map pool. I think that's something that players have a lot more familiarity with. I would say that these maps are not the weirdest maps that we could possibly have, so maybe we're all a little bit happier about that. But it's going to be a mixed bag, and I think New Sniper Ridge has been a mainstay, or at least that's the one I keep seeing. So I'm looking forward to that for set 1.
Yep, that should be pretty good. Now let's have a look at what players we're going to see today. Okay, so starting us off, we're going to have a TBT between Scan and, it says bye, but it's actually going to be No1FlaSh. White Clan did have to make a substitution for this game. For set 2, we're going to have Dandy versus Ho. That's going to be a cool TBZ. For the third match, we're going to have Spire versus Mook. That'll be a ZVP. Now the fourth match, there's something about that, but if it does happen, it'll be a PvT between Noob and FamSE. Now, just have a quick look at the player ranking table. Dandy is actually the second highest ranked player in the entire SCPL. He's currently at 9 for 2, which is insane. He's only just behind Yeti, but there's obviously a lot of players not only tied with him, but quite close to him as well. So is Dandy really going to be able to carry that on? Is he going to secure his second place, or is he going to fall to third?
Yeah, there's a lot that I guess looking at this table wouldn't necessarily just tell you straight off the bat. First of all, Red and Net Wars are two other semifinal teams. They both have several members represented here, and so you can't really tell who is maybe the stronger team there. Dandy is the only member of SouL here, but he's number 2, right? He's just so strong. And FamSE, like, this guy could absolutely kill any player, anywhere, anytime. He's just so good. So I can't wait to hopefully maybe get a chance to watch him in action. Regardless, both very strong teams with very strong players in the end.
Yeah, now our first 2 players today, it is going to be a TBT. Scan versus No1FlaSh. So Scan did play quite a few games in round 1. He went 4 for 1. But he's not played as many games in round 2. As a matter of fact, it's quite surprising to see him here because he is due to go to the military soon.
So he's actually in the military. He joined a while back, but it's not like active super ultra military duty. So he does still have time to actually go do some other things. And one of those other things is playing in STPL.
Yep, so he's here to support his team. Now his opponent is someone I personally haven't seen anything of in White Clan, but it's No1FlaSh. Just the fact they are on the white roster, you can assume they're pretty strong, so this should be a pretty fun TBT here as we move on to New Sniper Ridge. Now, New Sniper Ridge, one of the more standard maps we have, a kind of crazy map for TBT. The Ridges do play a huge game in TBT here, of course. You do have the tank lines on top of those, making it very hard to push across, very easy to split, and it should be a cool TBT.
Yeah, like you said, I don't know exactly what to expect just from checking out No1FlaSh's star log. It appears as if TVT is his worst matchup. He's 42% on ladder, 76 out of or 76 wins, 103 losses. So, he may struggle in this matchup. And for Scan, I would always just predict this guy to have a shot against just about anyone. Solid, I guess you consider him an amateur player, but certainly with a very illustrious career in tournaments both in Korea and internationally. Just really, really exciting to watch this guy play. I've had a chance to meet and hang out with him. He's absolutely grade A class act dude, and so I always, maybe feel a little bit biased towards him. But I don't know what to expect here in this matchup.
Yep, and there's only one way, sorry, to find out what's going to happen. Let's head on over to the game and let's get started. It's game 1 between SouL and White Clan, Scan versus No1FlaSh. And over here in the bottom right-hand side, 5 o'clock position, we do have our first player, the introductory player of today. It's going to be in the purple for SouL. It's Scan.
That's right, and his opponent in the bottom left-hand corner in the white. This is Flash. This is not, of course, Young Ho. This is just a guy named Flash, a hashtag big fan, if you will. So he's, just naming himself after the player. He's not actually the player, just to clarify that, even though I'm probably just going to say Flash and not No1FlaSh for the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, his ID is Flash, and it's probably a little bit easier to say Flash as well, but I do agree it can possibly become a little bit confusing. But this is the Flash playing for white. To be honest, Flash is one of those IDs that there's probably quite a lot of players with it anyway, even before
Well, I mean,
Flash
it's the same
turned
thing
up.
with... It's the same thing with casters that name themselves after players. I'm just like, well, you know, as far as branding goes, that's, not really you're not helping yourself out there, right? By YouTube.
Oh,
You enter the
1 second.
Well, so what are you gonna do, right? That's just
Okay, I do apologize for this, guys, but Rapid is currently rebooting, in terms of, like, his vocals. I don't really know where this lag's come from all of a sudden, but much like this tournament, we are a worldwide casting pair. Rapid, of course, in Korea, did cast the ASL yesterday, but hopefully we'll be able to sort this out soon, because Rapid, of course, very insightful. The second half of the SCPL duo, and we couldn't be here without him, so huge thanks for him to coming here at like 4 AM every time. Okay, I mean, in terms of the game, we do have Flash going for his gas. Meanwhile, Scan is going to go for a 1-Rax Fast Expand. And a 1-Rax Fast Expand, pretty common in TBT, not the most common anymore, but still a fairly good build. Does give you a good advantage, but I imagine Rapid is waiting for the lag to pass. I can see the problem. I'm currently like disconnected from him, but here we go. We're going to have Scan and White, or Scan and Flash even. Man, this is really confusing with their clan tags in the other direction, but should be a fun TBT. Now we're going to have the command center coming up here for Scan. Meanwhile, we're going to have Flash building on his factory. You can see he's pulled out 2 guys from gas, so he is not going all in. He's going to go for his own expansion very shortly as well. Now, of course, the one benefit that Flash is going to have is... he's going to have an earlier Vulture. Vultures, of course, do very well against Marines. That's why with the 1-Rax Fast Expand, you usually see a bunker coming up fairly quickly for the fast expanding player. And now you can see that the factory does delay that command center quite a lot, but not enough to cause too much of a fuss. Now, we've just rebooted the call, so hopefully that's going to help a little bit. I'm going to make sure I've got nothing else running.
Hopefully. I mean, I do cast a lot, but I'm not that much of a robot.
Rapid Bot. I like that name, by the way. That's kind of cool. You are the faster caster as well. You just overclocked yourself a little bit too much.
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't use the factory recommended settings. Or is it?
You know, that's a sort of joke. I don't know where to take it. So.
Okay, I was like, is this actual technical lag or is this just like Kicks IRL lag? I'm not sure.
You know what? I mean, England's internet may not be that good, but still strong and stable. That's our internet.
Well, I'm working with Korean internet here, Kicks. So I'm doing the best that I can. I'm having to pedal my bicycle wheels just to power the SKT hamster to get my internet data across the ocean to you. So I'm doing my best.
Yeah, now one cool thing we've seen so far is Scan is actually not opting to go for a second factory, and he has taken the high ground against two vultures there, taking well, doing half damage to that one and killing the other one, so really efficient vulture usage by Scan. And you can see
Yeah,
he's gone for the wall up.
early vultures and the battles and upgrades that they get and they do. I will never understand truly the finesse of this because you know, all it takes is you lose your first vulture and all of a sudden you'll never have the vulture lead. Vultures get total control of the map. They mine up everything, and all of a sudden that's a huge advantage. And that's kind of what we're seeing from Flash here, mining up the high ground on these ridges. But Scan's Vulture is actually going to get in here, kill off the first Marine, and actually maybe even start to deal a little bit of damage.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy. It's on 4 health. A single hit will take that down, and there we go. The tank finishing at the perfect time. Now, one thing I did notice just then is Scan isn't just going for 1 port. He is going for 2 port, and he's building rates on both. Now, this could actually catch Flash off guard.
That's true, and do you scout these specific locations for starports? I don't think so. Obviously, we're not going to have Scans up for just a little bit longer. There's that Academy, but the raids are already coming in, and unfortunately for Scan, he'll be flying right into a Goliath, which has to be just about the most perfect unit to start producing.
Yeah, Flash did build, well, No1FlaSh did build his armory at the right time. He got everything perfectly timed. He's already got the 2 Goliaths. Now, of course, by the time we have Cloak coming in for Scan, because he didn't go for the control tower wide away, he is going to have scanners up as well. They've just finished. So the raid's not really going to have the same sort of utility they would have had if it had got them a little bit sooner.
Yeah. But I mean, raids are so mobile that realistically scanning to kill them while they're cloaked is not a great solution. They just fly out and then come back in. So right now they're just kind of building up that energy so that when eventually the cloak does finish, they will be able to come back in. And you know, I think Flash is going to know that. But one thing I kind of want to talk about is you know, this new style. A lot of times vultures were just such a big part of TVT, but nowadays you're actually starting to see this Goliath style a whole lot more. We just got a chance to watch this in ASL a little bit later, and obviously it's not quite exactly the same, but you are starting to see this a little bit more, and it is super effective when you do kind of get that blind counter to somebody going 2-port raids against you.
Yeah, and not only that, but vultures really start to lose their utility the later you get in the game. Of course, they do still have a place. Very, very important for going against siege tank lines and things to soak some of those hits, but after the initial few, when you get the first like mines down for some map control, it's really better to just go into some Goliaths. Obviously, it's a lot more gas heavy though, which makes it a little bit harder to do.
Right, and managing Terran gas, man, I don't know, that's a little bit of a struggle, especially if you have access to like a mineral-only third. Obviously, that's not the case here for New Sniper Ridge, but on some maps it is. And so on maps like that, you kind of do want to go more vulture heavy because, yeah, it's just hard to pump, you know, Goliaths and tanks out if you only have access to maybe 1 or 2 gases.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. Now, one other difference we see is Scan has already gone in to 3 machine shop building tanks. Now, that is going to give him a very big tank lead early on. Now, can he convert this into a little bit more of an advantage? He's playing very defensively with his first tanks, trying to get the 6 o'clock base, of course. The later the game goes on, if he does manage to hold the 6 o'clock base, it's very likely the map will split vertically even. I mean, that's the only way it can split at this point. So unless Flash really tries to be aggressive, Scan's going to feel pretty good taking the 6 base, or 6 o'clock base even.
Yeah, Scan is going almost pure tank. He's just having his first kind of round of vultures after the first few come out right now. And one thing that you can do if you did go 2-port Wraith and commit to the cloak as well, is you can sort of pressure your opponent's scan energy so that it makes it more difficult for them to move out against, like, if you start laying heavy minefields. But actually, I think Flash's minefields are going to be a little bit more prevalent, and I don't know if either player really wants to break too far forward, but Scan does have the better tank positioning and the higher tank count, so those are 2 big advantages in his favor.
Yeah, we can see Scan immediately taking his gas at the 3rd base. Of course, Flash already mining from his, one divergence as well. We see Flash has gone for vulture speed. He's adding on a lot of extra factories, pumping vultures again. So slowly but surely we could see that moment come into the game where where the vultures and tanks just overpower the pure tank army. But Scan has got a pretty good minefield outside the front of his defensive line, so he's going to be feeling pretty good about this.
Yeah, that is true. There's these vultures that are running around laying mines, and that's kind of soft map control, but eventually the position that Scan's siege tank line is in is just better than where Flash's is. So I guess the kind of awkward part about this is that due to the rotational symmetry of New Sniper Ridge, Scan has to expand towards Flash, and whereas Flash is expanding away from Scan, which is obviously safer. So that might be a slight advantage, but I don't know exactly how to read that just yet. It looks like Flash is trying to come around the side of Scan and kind of break in from the top. Yeah.
If you don't know what crossing the T means, it's a naval term where ships will go sort of in a horizontal position against a vertical line. That does mean you've only got one tank shooting at you at any one time. Now a mine actually does go down on Scan's tanks. That's a lot of damage. And just going back to the rotational symmetry comment you made before, it may mean that Scan is obviously expanding towards his opponent, but it does give him easier access to this other ridge, which he's actually making good use of. But the trouble is, Flash is in a good position now. He's going to be able to push through the middle of the map, and he may be able to block Scan from taking the top right main.
Yep, it's all about how you limit your opponent's movement, and the ridges on New Sniper Ridge obviously are the kind of defining factor in that regard. It's how do you limit the movement of these tanks, and right now, like you said, Flash is in a really decent position to the north. It looks like he's going to try to push a little bit further forward.
Yep, now that was a nice tank hit from Scan on those front tanks. Now you can see Flash is moving to try and set up this soft contain. Now if he can take control of this other ridge, it will make it very difficult, but we don't actually have that many Goliaths. Now Scan didn't build too many Wraiths, but he still does have them, and they're going to be a threat. And this is going to force Flash into making some turrets.
Yeah, that is true. I would hope to see more turrets out there. He actually did bring SCVs with his push, so those were originally for just repairing, but yeah, they can build turrets too.
Yeah, but here we go. You see Scan is actually moving into vultures as well. He's still building the 3 factory worth of tanks. Now, Flash has slowly started to add on to that as well. We see Scan trying to move forward to take this 9 o'clock base, but you can see the spoon of Flash moving around trying to choke out, slowly but surely, Scan from getting to any other bases.
Yeah, and if you check Scan energy for, not Scan, but Flash, I think he actually only has one more scan left, 1.5. He's about to have a second one, but yeah, he does not have infinite scan energy, so eventually these Rays should be able to come back in and actually do something, but Flash actually does have maybe a slightly worse angle trying to come up from the low ground, just always such a big problem. Now running the vultures in, trying to lay mines on top of the tanks, he's unsuccessful at doing so, and so this position will survive for Flash, but he is losing quite a bit.
Yeah, and there's only actually one tank there now, so that's going to be a little bit easier for Scan to break down the ramp. He does have to be careful of the 2 mines, but you can see that Flash has started to build his turrets. He's going to move some more units up. The unit movement of Flash has been very, very nice here. He's moving around through his third base. He doesn't want to get too close to Scan. Now, Scan is actually unsieging his defensive line. It looks like Scan thinks he can break the front of Flash. And I mean, a lot of units have gone up to this 2 o'clock base, so this is going to be quite close.
Yeah, this is going to be the big moment, that one timing, if you want to call it that, for a Scan. He's going to try to break up to this high ground and alienate all of Flash's tanks out on the map from being able to return to help out here. And it looks like he's done just a fantastic job of this, Kicks. He's got tanks on the high ground, and he's not even actually sieging up there. He's going forward towards the north to try to eliminate more of Flash's forces out on the map.
Yeah, not only that, by taking this position on this ridge, there's only 3 tanks, but that's more than enough to actually block any units coming in for reinforcement. Now, Flash has this small contingent of forces in the top right, but they're not going to be able to do anything.
Yeah, those are just totally stationary. Those are dead units, essentially. They should be able to be cleaned up eventually. But the first priority for Scan is actually getting into position here against Flash. And right now he's going to go for it, sending the Vultures up on the high ground. The tanks are actually not focused, firing down Scan's tanks. And look at those gigantic hits. Scan crushing through this high ground position.
Yeah, but this is still a dangerous position to attack. There's a lot of units from Flash behind this, and they do have a good position. He's got the vision advantage with that barracks. Of course, that does go down now, but Scan can't really afford to push up to this high ground. He actually needs to be very careful.
Both players on 4 bases right now. 1, 2, 3, yeah, just making sure I'm counting that correctly. I'm not sure exactly what the SCV count is like, but, you know, Flash's top left-hand base is super safe right now, whereas, you know, there is maybe some tenuous safety for Scan. So Scan's going to try to go in and make this a whole lot less safe. By running Vultures forward, I thought he was actually going to run into the mineral line and try to deal damage there, but that is not his intention. He's going to siege right here, and I don't know if this is the best place to siege. He might get off a couple of decent shots, but that's kind of a win for Flash, who stops Scan in his tracks.
Yeah, not only that, Scan has lost his position over here in the top left. A nice mine goes down for Flash here, but Scan hitting back with more tanks. It's tanks for tanks right now. And I mean, this is a crazy, crazy amount of damage going down on both sides.
Yeah, it absolutely is, but Scan is proactive, right? He is the aggressor. And remember that upper left-hand base that I said was so safe? Yeah, well, it's not so safe at all. 4 Vultures, 4 Scan running up into it, and they will be able to take out the defensive Vultures here as well. So, I mean, this is just a recipe for success for Scan, who will be able to get a lot of economic damage done.
Yeah, now let's actually have a look at what tech's going on. We see some Valkyries coming in for Flash. He's still got a lot of tanks.
Oh, here we go. Breaking up to the high ground, he's gonna go ahead and siege forward. All the Vultures evaporate, and a big move by Flash works out.
Yeah, not only that, but the upgrades have finally started to flavor Flash even. Flavor Flash. But there we go, it looks like we're going to have Flash moving forward. The barracks is not in position yet. This is a very, very good engagement for Flash.
Yeah, but keep in mind, he just lost his base, so every tank he loses is just harder to replace than Scans. So he breaks out, he takes control of this position, but at what cost? Like, he lost his upper left-hand base, so he's just falling further and further behind. And eventually TVTs always come down to a battle of resources, and Flash is getting less of them.
The trouble is, though, where is Scan's tanks? He doesn't have all that many in defense, and this is still a hell of a lot of tanks for Flash. Like, Scan's going to try and push his way forward, but this isn't really that much, but that's some great tank shots.
Yeah, Scan actually is a little bit light on gas right now. Neither player with perfect macro. Scan floating a little bit, but yeah, he will need to macro out those tanks again. Now, granted, he has a ton of raids here, and so his transition is going to be much more effective. So I want to see whether or not these Valkyries are going to be able to deal with that, because this is just a huge cloud of raids building up for Scan.
Yeah, now Scan did, in the meantime, try and take the top right base, but there's still those tanks, and it looks like the command center's 1 or 2 hits away from going down. He lifts it, but he's lifted it into turret fire. The turret is going to take down the CC!
No way! Okay, well, that's not supposed to happen, Kix. A minor tragedy right there. Now, Flash is trying to make his way across the 12 o'clock line, down towards Scan's forces from the north. But Scan sees this exactly, and he's going to pull back to the high ground. And this should be a great staging area, especially if he brings his raids up and tries to stop Flash's push in its tracks.
Yeah, now the trouble is, Scan actually lost quite a few of the raids to the initial turret. He's only got 4 left. And the Valkyries are still alive, I believe. I don't think I've seen them go anywhere. Yeah, they're still at his base, so it's going to be very difficult for Scan here, actually. I mean, he's secured his top right base now. Flash has got his top left again. And we may even start to normalize again, but here we go. It looks like Flash is going to go for another big push.
Yeah, and there's actually no Vultures buffering here for Scan for his tanks on the high ground, so this actually should be super, super effective here by Flash. Flash's army is just so much bigger at this point. What happened to Scans? He did break up and then, you know, secure a better position up at the, 2 o'clock location. So that's where most of his army is right now, but yeah, this is actually a really sick game. Scan does have the better income as he has expanded once this command center comes, you know, back up online again. But I think Scan is actually still in the better spot, but Flash's army is just doing better things, making better moves, and continuing to trade effectively. Okay, well, until that tank volley where he'd lost, you know, 3 or 4 right in the middle.
Yeah, and we've got Scan with the, oh wow, the upgrades are actually at parity again. And we see Scan trying to be proactive again. He's done this the whole game, and he's going to see that the 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock bases are going to go back online, and it looks like he wants to send some more vultures over there.
Man, there's just only 4 vultures. There's such a great avenue. The potential to just run, you know, maybe 6, 8 vultures up there, and you can kill everything in the upper left-hand corner. Now, obviously, he doesn't exactly know that because scans aren't totally omniscient, but the opportunity is there, and you have to think maybe he's looking for a chance to run in and actually deal a ton of damage.
Yeah, but the problem is Scan over-relying on vultures now. When you look at Flash's base and his army, and he's building a lot more Goliaths again. Obviously, not only does this help with the rates, it also clears out vultures and mines incredibly effectively. And now both of them are building 4 sets of tanks, so they are quite even on tank count. But here we go, looks like Scan gonna come in again. There's a large Wraith fleet now, and this is gonna be pretty good.
Crucially enough, Scan ran in and lost a bunch of units, whereas Flash has no anti-air. He has a Goliath. That's not enough kicks.
Over the Valkyrie! The Valkyrie!
Yeah, it's Valkyrie, but there's no Scan! Kill the Valkyrie! He's not targeting the Valkyrie! Oh my god, just kill the Valkyrie! There's no Scan! Okay, so he finally targets down the Valkyrie, but only after he gets a bunch of volleys down. He could have actually just one-shot, or not one-shot, but like he could have killed it very quickly and then run away with impunity. But either way, I feel like Scan's race can be a huge factor in blowing this game wide open for him. They're getting so much value right now and safely eliminated all of Flash's tanks in the middle of the map.
Yeah, and this is a very strong position to hold. We do see some vultures moving around the top left corner again. There's not too much in defense, but here we go. There's actually 3 dropships full of units going into the top right main. Where are the rates? He's trying to send them up there, but are they going to get there in time? The main's here very, very big, and it's going to be hard.
He's going to catch him. He's going to catch him. Does he scout this out? How many Goliaths are there in there? He's actually going to... Yeah, he's going to focus down the dropship, so these units are stranded here, but at, you know, at what cost, right? I mean, the scan energy will run out eventually, but more importantly, taking out those dropships is a big deal. Now, obviously, he's going to lose his upper right-hand base, but he should be able to kill everything else.
Yeah, the trouble is, so it's a case of is Flash's units trapped there, or is Scan trapped in there with Flash? Because it's going to be very difficult for Scan to actually push up the ramp and take this out.
Oh, losing all those raids is a big hit. Scan's tank count took a hit because he spent all of his gases building, all of his gas building raids. Now he will be able to clear this back up again, or at least he should. Mind Drag is actually a little bit not in his favor, but Scan stabilizes, and actually he doesn't even cancel his command center, so he will be able to come back up and rebuild that in the upper right-hand corner.
You know, interestingly, Scan hasn't taken the ridge in the top middle, and Flash has got such a huge tank count, he's going to push straight the way through, and Scan just doesn't have anything back here to defend.
No, his siege tanks are actually unsieged, out of range here, so also combining that with his... he lost all of his raids, so Scan is going to have a difficult time defending right here, and a lot of his other tanks are sort of idly sitting by on the lower side of that middle, not actually defending against a whole lot. For comparison, Flash has 2 tanks on the bottom half of the map in that tank line, whereas Scan is defending with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, almost 10 tanks down there. So a really big mismatch, just committing to maintaining that center bottom siege tank line.
Yeah, now the big problem is for Scan is he has to hold that position in the south. If Flash manages to get up there, he can cut off the reinforcements. That's why he's overcommitting so much. And it looks like Scan is gone for his own dropships now. And now one thing to note as well, Scan did take the 6 o'clock base earlier than this 12 o'clock base. So eventually, if this game does go on for a very long time, we're going to have Flash with the resource advantage.
That's right. Well, let's find out how effective Scan's drops are going to be. And the answer is just very. This drop is devastating the economy for Flash at the 11 o'clock. And I mean, this is just super effective. Now, obviously, Scan is going to take heavy losses here, but at what cost, right? Almost every single SCV goes down. Very few, I think only 2 are saved there. That's a big hit to Flash's economy.
Yeah, but the trouble is, Scan did use a good number of tanks in that. They're going to be tanks that aren't here to defend. Now, he does have a little bit of a healthier tank line here. I did see the armory going before, so he is going into ship upgrades. He's actually going for plating first. He wants to keep his dropships alive a little bit longer, but here we go. This could be the fight that decides the game. Scan taking a very good start.
Terrible by Flash. Maybe he will break through, but he's trading just so inefficiently. Oh my goodness, that was so good by Scan. And keep in mind, he still has that economic damage that he did kicking in at the same time. Now, one thing he will need to do is eventually break through this. And with all of these dropships, I think that's actually going to be pretty possible. There's no Goliaths protecting those tanks, so you could actually just drop vultures straight on top of them to clear it up.
Yep, and this is a bit of a half-hearted, well, not half-hearted drop. There's actually a lot of units in there, but still, he's going to try and take this 12 o'clock base. Now, he has the initiative, he has the tank count to do this, and it's going to be very difficult for Flash to push up here to deal with this, but back at home, actually, let's not have a look at that now, because there is an engagement still going on.
This is super good here by Scan. He is being proactive and being rewarded for it. There's no Goliaths here, so these siege or the dropships are just basically immortal.
Wow, Flash is actually moving his vessel along with this. He wants to keep an eye on the dropships. He will have a defensive matrix, and there we go, that does go down. And I mean, Scan is just trying to find any damage he can. There's no mobile anti-air right now.
Oh my god, he's just gonna go for the 9 o'clock base. Or he could.
It's not really worth it, I wouldn't say, at this point. There's not going to be too much gas there. It's actually depleted already. And here we go. He's going to go for the second main. This is the heartland of Flash's economy at the moment. The vessel goes down. And just look at the amount of units that Flash has to bring back here to defend against this.
Yeah, Flash is just being run around this map, right? The 12 o'clock location, totally devastated. And all Scan has to do is unsiege, pick up, and leave. There's no anti-air. I mean, there are a few Goliaths way up north, but there's nothing to stop these dropships at all. And so they're just going to be ferrying reinforcements back and forth with impunity.
Yeah, and I really wonder what Flash's plan is going to be from here.
Dropping it on top of the tanks at that 12 o'clock, or wow. I guess right on the top of the north. He just totally destroys it. There's no Goliaths. He just destroyed, what is that, 5, 6, 7 tanks just for free.
He dematrixed the tank and it immediately died. I've never seen that before. Well, I don't think the animation had a chance to finish. It was just so many tank shots going down on it. And there we go. Scan taking a great position once again. He's got the units in the 12 o'clock as well. He's still got some units in this top left main. And Flash is really starting to struggle.
Absolutely. I think that was really the big winning move. If Scan does win the game, that's why. And so now from here, all he has to do is just walk up northward, shut down these 2 bases, and that has to be it. That is an absolute GG move if he decides to go for it.
Yeah, now Scan, of course, does have a lot of dropships now, so even though he is ahead in supply, quite a lot of that is in drops now. He's actually left a good number of dropships back home now. He's going to move in with his high health ones. And Flash doesn't really have that much to defend. We're going to have drop on drop action here. And how's it going to go? Oh wow, it looks like Scan actually forgot to bring Goliaths this time, and those tanks get cleaned up immediately.
Indeed they do. The biggest thing for me is to watch out for is whether or not Flash is going to just try anything to stop this. Obviously he knows he's in a weakened position, but he has to like either try or die, right? He's got a huge force macroed up back at his natural, and he has to try to use that, but it looks like he recognizes his position is just a little bit too tenuous, and he will tap out. GG, Scan takes the first win for SouL in this semifinal matchup against White.
He does indeed, and what a fantastic game to start us off for today. I know a lot of people aren't massive fans of TBT, but that was certainly good. I noticed your camera's on. It was laggy before, so that's probably a good thing. Let's just hide that. But either way, that was a well, I said that before, but what a great game to start us with, and we'll be back with our
I guess I
second
should
game.
turn my camera back on.
Okay, there we go. Oh, you're back again. It's like you never went anywhere.
I've been here the whole time.
Okay, so we'll be back after this.